Hi everybody, it's Tandy Gutierrez, founder of Mat&kitchen.com, and this is our daily vlog. My family and I are traveling for the next 12 months, and we've started in Madrid, Spain. So we're traveling all over the world. We're working as we go. My husband and I both work online, and we're blogging and posting. I am always looking at things through the lens of fitness and wellness. So these daily vlogs are giving you what I've learned and kind of my thoughts and ponderings about them as I go. We've been here for 4 days now, and the thing that's interesting is that I remember being in a pedestrian city is like such a wonderful, incredible thing. Like, you're exhausted, you're exhilarated because you're walking so much, and we're, you know, an adventuring family. We pack up in the morning and we head out for hours and then come back totally exhausted trying to explore and see as much as we can in one day. So my sons are 4, just about to be 5, and 9. And yeah, so there's also some carrying part of the time because the stroller's too much of a pain in the tush, you know, to fold up, take down, you know, walk up the stairs, escalators, and all of that. So I think you need to know a little bit of background if you don't already. As a family, we've lived in LA, Austin, New York, back to LA, back to Austin, and all around. So the last 2 years have been in Austin, Texas, and it's a driving culture, right? Like, you have to drive places, and we picked a place to live where we could walk to the grocery store, we could walk to both of our kids' schools, so that we didn't lose all of that. But I knew, moving from New York back to Austin, that I'd have hip issues and low back stuff again, because that's what happens when you get in a car and you sit a lot. And it immediately happened. I had to be more aware of my stretches, of my exercises, and I had to be more aware of actually going to do cardio. And that's a question that comes up a lot because I teach on the mat, right? I teach mindful movement, Pilates-based or yoga-based. And I always get that question, but don't I still have to do cardio? Because as a US culture, we think we have to do cardio in order to burn calories and to lose weight. It's a bit of a fallacy. Cardio is for your heart. It strengthens your cardiac muscle. So you do need a little bit of it because you want your heart to be healthy in that respect also from a physical standpoint. It doesn't take a lot to do that. So I'm a huge advocate for 30 minutes at a time or even 15 minutes really, really efficiently. So light walking is beautiful and balancing for a body. The reformer and the rebounder I'm a huge advocate of because it's the only cardio, exercise that's endorsed by NASA. So I always think that's a good thing. But in New York, I never even had to think about cardio. I had 2 young kids. I always had Sam in the backpack on the front of me or on my back. And so as a small framed person, I was walking a ton. I was taking them to the park and walking them to and from school and walking to and from the grocery store, and we didn't have a car the whole time we were there. So we moved to Austin and it just shifts the energy, shifted my digestion. I had hip issues and low back stuff crop up again. So now that we're in Madrid, it's been fascinating again because I thought, ooh, am I just going to be exhausted? Or are we all just going to be like wiped out after a couple hours? We have been walking nonstop, right? Because that's what we do. We'd prefer to walk than to take a taxi, and we are going on long excursions. So yes, we're taking the subway when we need to. We've taken like 2 cars in the last 4 or 5 days. And you'd think at this point I would figure out how many days we'd been here. Jet lag is still a little like, ooh, what day is it? What time is it? But fascinating thing, right? Feet are a little sore because they're getting used a whole lot more. But with all the crazy core work that I teach on Mat&kitchen.com, I feel amazing in my low back and in my hips and my legs. And yes, my body is more tired because we're doing more walking. But as far as being winded in that kind of aspect of cardio, like, hasn't been a big thing for any of us, even the kids. Sam, he's little, right? He's very tall, but he has been such a trooper and not totally wiped out, which has been fascinating. So I'm loving being back in a pedestrian culture and walking and having, your bag on your back and just being able to go. There's a huge sense of freedom in that. And as somebody who is an adventurer and very independent and freedom seeker, both my husband and I, this is like, the air and the excitement is back in things. Plus, as a culture, it's really nice to bump into people and to talk to people, and somebody drops something and you pick it up for them. And that is something that people don't get. They think that bigger cities are kind of, you know, really closed and people are rude and they just walk past you, and it's actually quite the opposite. We had the same experience in New York. They may not be super chatty, you don't take these long talks and discussion, but you have a real sense and connection to humanity in these larger cities where you're walking together. That's extremely different than in the Midwest or in the South and in many parts of the States. So that's my thought for today, and what I have relearned is that the walking part is so wonderful. And you add up all those steps, right? Everybody's super into their Fitbit and to tracking their steps. It's important. We're built to walk upright, right? One of the differences of humans and walking cultures, and I wish there were more of them in the States. And I wish it were that way everywhere. Wishes, right? But it's really wonderful to be back in that kind of setup, and I'm really enjoying it. And as a family, I just, you know, my digestion is better because things are moving and the kids are happy and they're tired at night in this really wonderful way. Like, not exhausted, but like they have seen and experienced and done and gone, and we didn't feel like we had to go log 2 hours at the park in order for them to get their movement out. It's a part of their daily life here. So I'm sure it'll transition, it'll gear down a little bit as we're here longer and doing more homeschooling and more work, and these first 2 weeks are really truly vacation time. So I just wanted to share that with you and hope that it, you know, sparks some thought about your fitness and your wellness, or about where you're living, or parts of your life that you really love, or some muscle aches and pains that might need some help that could be, you know, assuaged by more movement in your life. So the importance of getting on the mat. If you want to follow my family's travels, it's Wenomadwehappy.com. That's the blog. And if you want to work out with me and check out the food and movement that I teach, it's all online. They're 30-minute workouts, mat-based, great for small spaces, excellent for travel. And that is at Mat&kitchen.com. So thanks, and I will see you next time.